What's happening, guys? So, took my 2023 Ford F-150 with the Coyote V8 to the dealership to get an oil change. Now, yes, I have already done one oil change to this truck, and it's part of a protocol that I have with new vehicles. Before 1,000 miles, I'll typically have at least one oil change in the bank. But with the purchase of this vehicle, I did get a maintenance program. And in that maintenance program, oil changes are included. So, well, you guys know how expensive oil changes can be. Why not take advantage of this? And I did. But when I got the truck back, I thought, I want to see where the technician filled the oil to on the dipstick. Is it at the lower portion of the dipstick or the higher portion of the dipstick? And now, what I'm about to share with you might be, by some of you, a bit of an over-exaggeration of a problem. And I get that. But some of you guys are going to understand exactly why this would trigger an OCD event. So let me show you what I'm talking about here. I'm just going to pull the dipstick out. And on this type of a dipstick, the two holes represent the low and the high range for your fill. You can see the glare here. If I can get this in there. Up, keeps going. That thing goes, the thumb is, a little bit low. There we go. That level goes to right here. It's about 1/2 inch, and it's almost the same distance between the two dots. Or in essence, it's about a quart overfilled, maybe just shy of that. Now, why would that be a big deal? Well, for one, it's not within spec. Guys, if I'm taking my vehicle to a dealership that is the dealership of manufacturer of my vehicle, I would expect that their technicians would be factory trained and that little details like this would be a big deal to them. That scrutinizing those little things is what makes quality job one. But in this case, this is an oversight. Somebody overfilled the crankcase. Now, it is a known issue with the Coyote V8 earlier on, at least with this latest generation, that there was an oil consumption problem. However, part of that problem was found to be because there was too much oil in the sump. And a reduction of the amount of oil in the crankcase is what seems to have solved that issue. So is this truck filled to the old fill level? Well, that's one option that may be a reason for this. But more to the point, either way, it was incorrect. Too much oil in the crankcase can lead to oil consumption issues because of oil being aerated. In other words, windage issues. Crank hits that oil, splashes it, foams it, aerates it in the crankcase, and now it is aerosolized, which means that it can be consumed in essence by the engine through the PCV system. None of that is good. And I understand that's a whole lot of gobbledygook, and all it means is that bad stuff is happening. Also, under high load, high RPM, hard acceleration, you can end up aerating the oil and you can have a loss of oil pressure. When you need oil pressure the most, see, overfilling a crankcase can be a major problem, and Ford figured that out when they reduced the protocol for these engines. It looks like I'm thinking that this one was maybe filled by a guy that wasn't paying attention. But then that begs another question. If he wasn't paying attention with the fill, is it even the right kind of oil in this truck? Well, I will tell you this. I am going to reduce the amount of oil in the sump, and it will be between the two dots as it should be. But within about 1,000 miles, you can believe me when I tell you it'll be getting another oil change. So with that, guys, post up your comments. Let me know what you think. Am I blowing this out of proportion, or is my OCD well-founded in this? Have you guys run into issues like this in your experience with dealerships? I'd love to hear about it. And with that, guys, that's a wrap. Adios.